Hi everybody, how are you my friends? Miss D here with 21st Century. We are going to have some fun art today, at least I hope it's fun for you. I know that I always have fun doing art, and I hope that you guys are doing some art just by yourselves with whatever you have at home. Pencils, crayon, watercolors, whatever you have, you can create anything, right? So today we're going to do shading, and our mediums, remember mediums are the supplies that we use to create our art. So today all we need is a pencil, piece of paper, an eraser if you choose, and some Q-tips. Why Q-tips? Glad you asked. The reason for Q-tips is that we can shade with Q-tips. And you can also use your finger, but remember that our fingers have natural oil on it. So that sometimes kind of smudges it rather than blending it. And there's a difference. When we smudge it, it kind of makes it a little bit rougher. Blending is a softer way of blending our colors. There we go. And usually it's a dark to light. So those are our values. And values, again, are dark and light. So I'm going to share with you my finished project that I did, and then I'm going to do one with you. Now, they're going to be the same art project, but they will not look the same. Why is that? Well, again, glad you asked, because no two drawings are ever alike, okay? Always remember that. Even if you did the same drawing 5 times, they would never look the same. So I'm going to share with you what I've done, and then we're going to do one together. Hope you have fun with that, as much fun as I did. All right, here we go. Right, I hope you have paper and pencil, and I've got 3 Q-tips. You can use as many Q-tips as you like, or of course you can use your fingers, but remember that our fingers have natural oil on them, so sometimes when we smudge them it doesn't always work. So this is little Sea Squirt, and you can see, I'll show you, he's got a tail and long body, and he's got a funny little round shape, and then some pretty kind of fins, and then a big round circle, kind of oval circle, and then sort of little horns and big eyes. Like all anime characters have really big eyes. So I'm going to pan up here so you can see the whole thing, and I'll bring it down. So that's what this one is, but remember, when we do it, it's never going to look the same, because that's the beauty of art, is it never looks the same twice. Like I said earlier, you could do the same drawing 5 times, and I guarantee that that would not look the same. It would look close, but it would not be exact. So I've got my paper and my pencil, and I'm going to start with the head. So I'm going to make a big oval, and this is already bigger than the other one. And see how it's not even connecting up there? But that's okay, because I'm going to do this. I also, remember, sometimes we can use the edge of our pencil, and that's what I did a lot with that one. Kind of makes it a little bit, pops a little bit there. So now I'm going to give them 2 big eyes, round circles for the eyes. So again, we've got lots and lots of neat shapes. So there's the eyes, and then we have highlight in the eyes, always highlight. And then there's the little lines, because when you look at eyes, it's not just one dark circle, is it? You can look at your eyes in the mirror, or look at your friend's eyes, or your family's, and you can see how they're different colors and different shapes. He has a little bit of a nose, and then I'm going to give him a little bit of a mouth. We can have his mouth open or closed. I'm going to have his mouth open. And then up here is where I'm going to give his little, we can call them horns, or they could be maybe fins, because he's in the water. He's a little sea squirt. I don't even know what that is, but it just sounds like a fun name to name him. And we're going to give him eyebrows. Little eyebrows there. So then I'm going to do the body, and that's another shape. It's kind of like a half circle. Kind of like a little half circle. And then his arms. Got little arms. We're going to give him little fingers, little arms, little hands. And again, more shapes. And if yours turns out different from mine, that's absolutely wonderful. I hope it does, because every one of you is super, super creative. And I'm making little lines for his little part of his tummy, and then he has a little tummy button. And then I'm going to give the fins out here. I put 3 out there. And then I'm going to do this, and this is going to be the long, this is the fun part, long kind of sweeping lines, kind of almost like a banana, isn't it? See how it's shaped almost like a banana? And then at the end of it, it's got the tail, so it's just like a big fish tail. Could be a dolphin tail or a whale's tail. So there we have little Squirt. He's just penciled in, and remember, there's the finished one. So you can see the shading that we're going to do, and I also added some water lines on there. Water lines? Okay, yeah, waves. There we go. You can add waves to it if you want to. Make it look like waves. And then what I did is, remember when we color or when we do something, it's okay to go back and forth a little bit. Just make short kind of movements and it kind of fills it in. And if you feel like that's, sometimes for me, if we feel like we want to hurry up, it's okay, but sometimes it's fun just to relax and just have fun with the pencil. So you see how I'm not really coloring all of it in right now. And the reason I'm not is because I take my Q-tip and I'm going to blend that. And what we're doing is the shading. So then we've got the shading, and remember that shading is the dark values, and that's how we get our darker values with the light values. And remember, values are dark or light. So we've got the light here and the dark here. And it's different values inside that eye. See how it's darker right here and it's lighter here. And if you wanted to kind of go out like that and just add a little bit of a shadow under there and a shadow on the mouth. So I'm going to go ahead and do the other eye. And there are other ways to color when we use our pencils. Remember, when we're using colored pencils, you can go in little circular motions. You can go in straight lines like I did with the other one. Whatever kind of makes you happy. And the whole thing with drawing and being creative for me is being happy and just really, really enjoying what you do. And remember, is there anything perfect in art? No. That's the beauty of being an artist and being a creative person, is that there's no right or wrong, and there's definitely no perfection. And that's a good thing, isn't it? So now we have the eyes. And if you like that, that's good. If you think, oh, I really want to get that, add some more dark to it, or kind of just make it a little bit heavier. Now, heavier means what? Heavier means I'm pressing a little bit harder on that pencil right there. If I go lighter, you can see I'm not pressing as hard. Kind of hard to tell, but I'm not pressing as hard enough. All of a sudden I do that. See how it made it darker. So these are values again, and shading. And then I can bring it down here and see how it already makes it kind of pop, doesn't it, compared to the rest of it. So I'm going to do the same thing with the rest of him. I've got a little mouth here. And then remember how we talked about cross-hatching. Cross-hatching is like when you have almost like a tic-tac-toe, but it's really tiny. A little tiny tic-tac-toe. And then his arms have it too. So it's when you draw lines direct one way in one direction, and then you go back in another direction. And that just is another way to shade. If you don't want to use your fingertip, or if you don't want to use a Q-tip, or if you want to do both. Here's something fun. I did the crisscross, and now I'm going over it with my Q-tip. And right now I'm just using one Q-tip, and that's okay too. You can use one Q-tip the whole time, or if you want, you can use more than one Q-tip. And then I'm just going over the outline again. So that just means I'm making it a little bit darker than it was before. And here's some shading again. And see how when you add the shading there, it makes it pop. It's the same thing with the other side. Got shading there, and I'm going to give him a little bit of shading up here. So I'm just going to do some lines going this way. So if we're doing this, and our light's coming from this direction, because this side is lighter and this side will be the shadow part. Does that make sense? Because you got your shadow on this one, and if you wanted to, you could take something like a ball or an apple or an orange and hold it up to a light, and then you'd see where the light's coming from and where the shadow's coming from. And I know we did that a lot of times in our program when we'd be sitting at our table and we would look at where the light was coming from. It's kind of interesting. You could even do that outside. And depending on where the sun is coming from, you would have shadows in different areas. So then for the tail, if I want to make it look like scales, I just kind of make almost like half circles. So they just kind of go like a half circle, almost like W's. There you go, kind of like W's. And then I'm going to use the edge of my pencil right along the edge of his tail. And it's another way of shading. So right now we've done how many different shadings? We've done shading like with the edge of our pencil. We've done shading using a crosshatch or lines going in different directions. We've done shading with circles. And then we've also done shading with our Q-tips. And all of these are values and shadings. And then our mediums, again, pencil, Q-tip, and I haven't used my eraser. So it's completely up to you. If you're happy with it, you don't even need to use an eraser. Completely up to you. So now we go down to the tail, and I'm just adding some lines here. It's all about lines, shading, and all of the fun things that you can do just with a pencil. It's pretty amazing, isn't it? And I'll bet you could probably come up with some really, really cool ideas. So there he is. Doesn't look exactly the same as the other one, but I've put them side by side. There's the one that you and I did together. There's the one that I did before. This one's darker because I spent like probably about a half an hour on that one. But we're not going to spend a total half hour. This is one that you can do, and if you want to add color to it, if you have colors, you can do that. You can add more lines. You could add another set of fins if you wanted to, and you could give him maybe a little bit of hair if you wanted to. There's all kinds of ways that you can make this your very own artwork, and that's really it. So that's how we draw our Sea Squirt. I hope you enjoyed this video. I guess it's a video, yes, that we will have fun with and do more videos. Have fun, since we can't meet in person right now. This is a fun way to be creative. So everybody enjoy. Have a wonderful day, and always remember to keep on arting. Bye. Well, my friends, I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. And maybe you learned something a little bit different or new, or maybe it's something that you kind of forgot about, and now you can say, oh, I remember when we did the shading, or I remember what values are. Those are how we choose our tones, darks to light, light to dark, and the shading again is how we blend. And you know that whenever we blend, it makes our drawing pop. Right? Okay, I again hope you had a lot of fun with that, as much fun as I did with you. And even though we can't meet in person right now, it's so much fun for me to share just a little bit of creativity, because I know you all have so much incredible, awesome creativity. And remember, think outside the box. All right, everybody, have fun, stay safe, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Misty signing off.